Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't African. The talk, think tank that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his way to America locked in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And tonight we're going to deal with a concept that's very important to the African American community. We're going to talk about something that is rarely talked about in the African American community. It's not even hit on. If we start talking about this, people will get up and leave, but we're victims. Tonight, we're going to talk about reality. Now, let me warn you, this is not for the faint of heart. So if you one of those persons that'll turn somebody in, report somebody on Facebook, go snitch, tell, if you one of them motherfuckers, leave. Because you're not going to understand it anyway. Reality. What's reality? How do we conceptualize what reality? Do we get our reality somewhere else, or do we make up our own reality? Is our reality given to us in a magazine, or do we make our own reality? See, these are some questions that the African American doesn't ask themselves. They don't put these questions to their kids so their kids can figure it out and come with the answer. That's what the African American doesn't do. So I want to share something with you guys that was shared with me today. And it really made me see how we look at these entertainers, these celebrities, we look at them as like they're some kind of god. Seriously. We look at these people like they're a god. And you've all seen it. You've all seen the idol worship. Now, here's a example of how we're going to delve into this, of what I mean by reality. And we got to start dealing with reality. Does anyone out there think that whole Michael Jackson story, you think that's reality? You think that's reality? You think that's real? You think that the person that came out on the Bad album, you think that was the same little boy who was singing I Want You Back, ABC, Stop the Love You Save? Because some of us will follow whatever narrative we're given, don't we? And we will believe it and we will protect it with our lives. That's where we're losing. Because other people's make up a narrative for us and we fight and defend that instead of creating our own reality and making it work for us. The African American doesn't even think of that. None of these historical black colleges, they don't know. The African American is taught to work against himself. Every breath they take, they are taught to work against themselves. And it's the truth, and now you know, and all of you know it. Now, some of you will get butthurt and get mad and you ain't doing nothing but trying to tear us down. Shut up. There's some basic things that we got to know that we're trying to ignore. And that's what tonight's discussion is about. If you're one of them persons that don't like reality, leave. Because that's the last thing we need to try blocking up this energy is some idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about talk. So I just want to start off from the beginning so we can be on the same page because I don't want to be too long. The people who call themselves African American, the people who call themselves Black, the people who call themselves Negro, or mothers or fathers called themselves Negro, or their grandmothers and their grandfathers called themselves Negro, or colored, or any other monikers you want to name. You always want to go back and search your family so you can see what they call themselves. You can see what they call themselves. You can see where they're from. You can take ideas where they're from and come up with a name for yourself to tie yourself back to the land. That's all I'm talking about. That's all I'm telling that saying about African Americans ain't African. This is your land. This is the land that birthed you. But you think you're Greek, Hebrew, Egyptian, Greek, you, you're into everybody's Kool-Aid but your own. And since you're not in your Kool-Aid, other people from other nations come over and take your Kool-Aid. And you look how you look now. That can't go on. I mean, it's comfortable for the baby boomers, the I have a dreamers, and all. It's cool for them. Let them have it. I would suggest that the African American community, the people who were birthed by this land, I would suggest that you come up with another idea, because the one where this is taking the people, you don't want to be there. So how this reality is constructed is, uh, and I'm going to use examples, and I'm going to use other species in the family of species on the family, like a deer. A deer is a deer is something. A deer helps make this environment what it is. A turtle, a beaver, a coyote, all of these things help make up the environment that we are. You didn't put them here. They were created just like you were. And these are some of the things, and these are some of the ideas that can get us how to look at ourselves and at our families. Because the African American community is walking around here, dumb is nice. If I say dumb, I'm being nice. Don't want to know. And I'm gonna give you an example tonight how that is. I experience it daily. We don't want to know nothing. Okay. We're comfortable with where we are. This is the African American talking, and we're not dealing with reality. So, want to share something that was shared with me today, and the outcome of it to show you how we're not really dealing with reality. So everybody knows about the Serena Williams fiasco. Uh, I've heard about it. I've seen clips on the paper, on the internet about it, but I'm not really into tennis like that, so I don't really know the particulars of it. So one of the guys in the group today sent a picture, and he's one of the guys. And African American Ain't African is a group that our only thing is to get your brain to moving, get that copper to rubbing together. That's all. I mean, damn, y'all. You don't think about what's happening to us? And the majority of African Americans can give a damn less. And we're going to show you how that's happening. So he posted a picture. It was a picture or video, one, of Serena Williams. And everybody heard of the Serena Williams is a man thing. Me, my thoughts on that, of that is, it very well could be. I don't know. I'm not into the newspapers and the TV and the television, and I'm not into that media sports fan worship, because it could be anything. They have they have men becoming women. Check that. And if this ain't some bullshit, I don't know what is. They have men changing their sexes to become women, Now they can wrestle women. Now they can box women and kicking the shit out the women. I laugh because why women even let this shit go on is half the reason why the world is fucked up. This man turns into a woman and he goes to fight women and that can get a license. Are you serious? And this is what we're into it. Negroes lead the charge. You know we do. So I had a up until today, I really didn't care if Serena Williams was a horse. I wouldn't care. It doesn't that doesn't move me. But this post was put in the group, and the person who put it in there, he's always posting stuff like that. And I like what it does is because it gets people to really get checked. Really get checked. And sometimes we think we know stuff, and when we don't know, how do you feel? Oops. That's why it's important for Negroes to have all these idols and Negroes to where, I mean, we still worshiping Jesus. And when I ask brothers who push that Bible story, how is it possible that two men can create a woman? They try to jump over it. They don't want to talk about it. It don't say that. Yeah, dude, explain. And they can't explain, so they run away from it. This is one of the main things that African Americans do. They don't deal with reality. They refuse to. I don't want to talk about it. Why? What if it makes somebody else feel better? What if it pours out some information that somebody else needs? You still don't want them to say it. All these kids that have been killed by the church and molested by the church, and you don't want them to say nothing. You just want them to go tormented. Really? This is where we are. So put this picture of Serena Williams up. Is Serena Williams a man? And so I went ahead and looked at it. And what the person was saying was compelling. Just look at the bodies. Men are built like this, women are built like this. Now, I will say, I think this is the play. They doing this whole transgenderism, HQBC, gay, lesbian, having sex with animals and children. All that is being flung upon us now. So I realize what's going on. I realize what's going on. People when I was a kid, who I loved, who I looked up to as sports people, because I used to be into it, like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's son dresses like a girl. For real, cuz? Isaiah Thomas' son dresses like a girl. Really? I see where this whole thing is going. The majority of the African American community doesn't. Matter of fact, I would say quite a bit of the African American community endorses it. One of the ways to get you out of here is to slow down your birth rate. If men is hitting on men and women hitting on women, there's no babies being created. That's preschool stuff. You 10 years old and don't know that, you're retarded. I know your feelings hurt, you feel bad, but get with it. We have no time to be dumb. So this cat posted a picture of Serena Williams, and her body, his body, is like a dude's. I ain't talking about what kind of makeup she wear, the eyeliner, what kind of Cheerios she eat, what weight she lift. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about when you stack women up against how women are built and how men are built, Serena Williams is a man. I'm, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not trying to say it to piss nobody off, but I'm saying we have to start dealing with reality. And why all this fake shit is being put there on us, there's a reason why. And many of you already know what that reason is. Many of you already know what that reason is. So, so the post is running, and right away, people are just, I mean, and the dude who posted it in his ass, and he's a good dude. So I mean, just as when ask questions. If you want to find out something, ask questions. But these people didn't do that. They came in there jamming this dude up. I mean, and the guy was saying, "Well, prove what you're saying." None of them would do it. Right there, that's how you know they got him, because the African American Negro emotions, because he's a child, they're children. Come on, we're very well of us that we're in this white supremacist culture, and we're like we're prisoners. We can't do what we want to do. Well, we can, but the the mental aspect of it is what we're talking about tonight. We have to change it. You know, just believing in bullshit just because it's come on TV is crazy. So it was Serena Williams a man? And so this article is showing how a man is built, how men are built, and they were showing how women are built. Serena Williams is built like a man. Now, when we questioned the people, they just rolled right over that. That's how we knew they didn't want to deal with it. I mean, but one sister did, and I want to send out a shout to her. One sister did. She she saw it, and she put it up the way she saw it, step by step by step by step. So what the average African American would say is, well, what would be the purpose of them putting that up there? To keep you confused, to keep you not thinking, to keep you entertained. And I would suggest everybody take the word entertain and break it down to the syllables and see what you come up with. Another thing I would suggest the people to do is start checking out these numbers. Start checking out numbers, how numbers are used. Really get into that. If you know people, because I'm sure some of you already know people who do that, get with them. That's another thing we got to get into. We are we're being done in, y'all. And most of it is our own fault because we refuse to make ourselves aware of the things that are going on around us. So back to the Serena Williams thing. Serena Williams has no bearing on my life, yours either for that matter. But we can emotionally and psychologically connect with these people, and these people can make us do certain things, whether you want to believe that or not. It's called idol worship. I mean, that's why I asked you about Michael Jackson. Do you really think that the cat that sung ABC is the cat they put in the ground supposedly? You think those are his kids? They're, I know sisters that will scratch your eyeballs out saying those are his kids. And no way. So, what do you think if we keep going the same way we going psychologically? What you think is going to be like in 50 years? Michael Jackson to be a white boy. This is how they're erasing you. This is how they're erasing you. Instead of you erasing yourself by calling yourself Greek, Moor, Egyptian, Africa. See, you're doing it yourself. You have no problem doing it. You do it with you do it and hold a sword up, motherfucker. This was me. Well, while you're being Greek, who's being you? We don't want to talk about that. Always check out the things that the African American or the American Negro don't want to talk about. Never want to talk about reality. I always want to talk about some old play shit. That's all. Trying to get somebody else's stuff. Never creating nothing for themselves. That's the males and the females. You're not dealing with reality. And as long as we don't deal with reality, we're going to be in this situation. So I don't. This wasn't meant to be a long piece. I know it's Saturday night. I know they got booties to shake tonight. So um, check out, start dealing with reality, y'all, because they about to throw all kind of stuff in your face. They've already done it. That's why the piece on the Serena Williams was so hard. Go take a look at it if you can. It'll blow you away. It'll blow you away. Those who are really into it, but read the what the people say about it. I mean, I had people, I had people turning the post in, talking about it's offensive. How is it offensive? How it is offensive? Somebody posted last night on the Canadian, the indigenous Canadians. Somebody posted last night what happened to the children up there. Horrific. The people still cry and they talk about it, and this shit happened 50 years ago. So they just killed children, and you pissed off because you find out that your favorite tennis player is a man, and you feel offended. This is what we get offended. We are insulted. This is going to be the Negro's downfall. You have children walking from Nicaragua to Denver, Colorado to scrub somebody's toilets, but you're insulted because you heard something you didn't like. Are you serious? This is where the Negro is today. Those people won't make it because they're easily insulted when they're being insulted. They being insulted so much, they don't even know what an insult is. Reality. Reality. Go out into your national parks, your forests, your lakes and rivers, and start touching that. Start walking through them woods. Start putting your feet in them rivers and them streams. Wherever you are in America, there's a place where you can do that. That's the cool part. And that's what all these other people are running over here to get. Your streams, they already got them because they're not yours. Because, of course, you're Egyptian, Greek, a Moor, Black, African American, blah, blah, blah. None of this belongs to you. Everybody else comes and take it and have you looking how you look now. That's the African American isn't meant to deal with reality. The men as well as the women. It's no one is uh, bigger or better than the other one. You both are equally into it. The females for letting your sons become this dumb. I mean, really? And daughters become this dumb. Really? You're gonna take your great grandmother, turn your back on her, and say you are African for real, cuz that's you? Yeah, that's what we do. And proud. I asked the cat who told me his people came over here from Africa. I'm like, where's your grandmama from? Tennessee. She was an Indian in Tennessee, but I thought you said you came from Africa. He said, well, my grandfather did. I'm like, your grandfather didn't have you. Your grandmama birthed them babies. It's hard for brothers to tell you that they have the seed, and sisters believe it. This is what the African American thinks. This is what the African American believes. Think about that. Think about that. The males, they believe that they have the seed. But I thought you fertilized the seed. They won't even. I mean, we didn't had about 6 people get off the line already. Hearing that, this is what we believe. Somebody else tells us a story, we pick it up and make our stories ours. We don't have our own stories. We take what King James says, and we take his story, and we become the characters in his story. Ain't that what we do? Reality, y'all. Time is coming where many of you won't even know what it is. Reality. Hey, you guys have a good Saturday night. Good talking to you, and thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.